What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Those are three we're going to go over today. What I want to do, I want to talk about Bitcoin and if we're in one of these little pennant patterns and if we're going to get another leg up to $10,500 and if we're going to challenge that. Right now, what you can see is here, we're actually going to go through this in the encyclopedia of chart patterns, but you can see that we're forming a little pennant right here. We have two touches on the top. We have two touches on the bottom. That's on the 4-hour time frame. We have this long pull up, so we're getting into this small symmetrical triangle. And when you look at pennants, and we're going to look at this in the encyclopedia of chart patterns, the appearance that it says is a short triangle bounded by two converging trend lines. So we have that. It says in a bull market, the performance rank, if we are to break through the upside, the average rise is 25%. Throwbacks happen 47% of the time. So after the breakout, it'll actually come back to the point it broke out 47% of the time. There's a 3-week maximum. The 3-week maximum is a limit. Pennants can range in length from 2 days to 3 weeks. A pattern longer than 3 weeks is better classified as a symmetrical triangle, rising or falling wedge. The pennants I looked at average, they're about 9 to 11 days long. It says in here. Next, steep, quick price trend. So this is our steep, quick price trend that we broke out of. When we broke out of $7,808 there, it says look for a steep, quick price move leading to the pattern. This feature is important, and it has the side benefit of making pennant spotting easier. The straight line run-up can be up or down and should be several points in a few days, moving several points in a few days, and then downward volume trend. Most of the time, pennants will have a downward volume trend, but do not exclude a pattern because the volume slopes upwards. So overall, we've actually had this as well. So here's our big pull. You can see our volume, and then it's actually dried up while we've gotten into this little pennant formation. And what we're looking at is to see if we're going to have an upside break to get over top of $9,300 and head up there to test that $10,500 area. Basically, what we've been having is, in the macro sense, we've been having these lower highs that have been coming in. And what we do, we don't want to have another lower high here. If we could have another leg up and a break from this pennant to the upside, and we can get over $10,500 and turn that into support, that really opens the door up for us, because that would be the change in the macro sense of those lower highs that have continuously been coming in. So that's the area that we definitely need to break up through and turn into support. Now, this doesn't mean that this has to break to the upside. As with all chart patterns, you want to have clear confirmation. You want to start having candle closes outside of this trend line. And a lot of the times in cryptocurrency, what you run into is you'll see during the move here, during the 4-hour candle, the 1-day candle, whatever you're looking at it on, we're looking at it on the 4-hour time frame here. But sometimes you'll actually see during the 4 hours the candle really pump outside of this, and then you're left with this huge wick and it closes down below. And that's the importance of always waiting for those candle closes and waiting to see if it's that 2 to 3% candle close up above the pennant or symmetrical triangle or whatever chart pattern you're looking at. Because remember, chart patterns aren't confirmed until you either break to the upside or you break to the downside. Now, if we were to move to the downside, as overall, we need to hold $8,474. We would call it $8,500 as important support, in my opinion, as well as this 50 moving average on the 4-hour time frame, which is at $8,578. I think that's another key area. If those don't hold, then I'd be looking down around $7,800 and then to $7,400. Area down in here if we do have a strong downside break, which can happen. We have to be aware of that. You can always break to the downside out of these. A lot of times they'll want to follow the trend. And right now in the intermediate term, our secondary trend is up. And that's what we've been cruising at right here, just like how we had this continuation. We had this nice push up. We consolidated sideways, then we had another leg up, and now we're having that same type of situation here. It's a different pattern, but we're having this same type of situation. We're going to have to wait to see if we do get that upside or downside break. It may take a little bit longer still. A lot of times you can break out right at about the area that we're at right now. And it's just one of those tough areas because we're having the lower highs here in the short term, but we're also having higher lows. So the buyers have been supporting this area, and that's very important to look at. So if this does continue to the upside, we would look for about a 25% move is what it says. So what we're going to do is just measure that. And this is just for fun, guys. Remember, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not saying this is going to happen. We're looking at this and we're trying to put the odds in our favor. That's what we're trying to do here. So we're going to go to our price range and say we were to get a nice candle close up above here. We'll go from about right there. 25% would put us up above that 10,500, even over $11,000. We'd call it $11,400 would be right around that 25% range if we did have another leg up here, which is very possible. We could just continue this trend right here and just keep it moving, guys. That's something that I want to see happen. You know, I talk to you all the time. I'm not a bull. I'm not a bear. I'll trade the market how the market is. You know, if we're in an uptrend, I'll trade it bullish. If we're in a downtrend, I'll either stay out of the market or I'll short it. And that just is what it is. But I want to be aligned with the trend. And in the intermediate term here, we're still in an uptrend right now. I'm not in a position. I'm waiting for a great opportunity. I want to see if maybe I can catch something out of here if it moves to the upside. And if it moves to the downside, then it is what it is. But I want to see cryptocurrency succeed. I want to see Bitcoin do well, you know, going into the halving. I want to see higher prices for us all, guys, but I'm going to be realistic with you and I'm going to identify the trend. And overall, in the macro sense, we're still in a downtrend, but in this intermediate term, we're in an uptrend. We're just going to see if we end up getting this continuation to the upside. So that's Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. And what I want to do is actually back out to the 1 day quick because there's something I wanted to zoom in on for you. So you can still see we're in this little pennant formation, but some of the things that are making me nervous and why I took my profits and I'm not in a position right now, right here, this long leg doji, I talked about it yesterday, has a really long wick and it also came on heavy volume. So there was a lot of selling off right in this area. And then past that, you can see we even had more doji short day candles, a lot of fight up in this area between the bulls and the bears where it's just going back and forth. And typically when you see candles like this after a long white candle like that, that can actually show you your top or your reversal and where we may have to cool back down, you know, even to that 200 moving average at $8,000. It's a possibility. And that's why I want to wait for confirmation. I want to get a nice strong break to the upside out of this and then see if I can catch some of that 25% if we do end up moving to the upside. But I'm not there yet. But say you are in a long position, our volatility stop right now, they have it at $8,066. So what that's saying is if you're in a long position, that's where you'd want your stop loss in case this is a true reversal and we really start heading down fast. But for me, that's kind of a sticky spot here. I would almost want it up a little tighter or even lower than that because this area right here is falling right along that 200-day moving average, which a lot of times you can back test that after you've broke up through it before you get the next leg up. So I would just be careful with that all around right now. But on the 1 day, these candles, they got me looking at things, you know, just seeing if we're going to have a big nasty drop or retracement after that to let the market cool down. But in the shorter term, we're forming that pennant. So we're just going to have to see. That's more so what I'm telling you all. Just even right now, you can see all these candles forming with the stock in overbought territory right now with the potential for a downward cross. But, you know, this is cryptocurrency, guys. And I would say short term right now, from the 1 hour to the 4 hour, all that, we have a better shot at breaking to the upside. On the 1 day here, it's making me just a little bit more nervous because these candles are pretty ugly up here and there has been a lot of selling that was taking place. So I definitely want to keep an eye on that. If you get something from that, guys, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Appreciate you all being here with me today. And what we're going to do next is get into Litecoin. So if you guys like me covering Litecoin, also let me know down low and tell me what you're doing right now, guys. And for all the people who just put the thumbs up and smiley faces and all that, it really helps the algorithm. I appreciate that. And that helps out on the channel, guys. So I really appreciate that. Then we'll get into Litecoin here next. And Litecoin's at 46.37 right now. Take a look. And you can see here's all the headlines over here for Litecoin, which is pretty nice with TradingView. They give you that. So for Litecoin right now, we're at that critical area. We are right at that $46.59 right here. So that was our previous resistance that we broke up through. We back tested it. We tried to get up again to meet that $51. We failed. We dropped back below it. We tried again to get back up here. And now we're going to see if we do close back up above that. But you can see that area, guys. And that's why I tell you this type of stuff. It's a huge fight. And that's for a reason, because when you break through old resistance right here, you want it to become new support so that you can have that next leg up. And that's why it's so critical that we find support here. If we don't find support here, I would look down to the 200 moving average on the 4 hour time frame, which would be at about $43.65. That may be an area that we could pull a bounce off of, or this white trend line that I have here. So I'm going to extend this white trend line out like that. And you can see this is what needs to be obeyed. We don't want a trend line break, guys. Trend line breaks after being in an uptrend and having these higher lows for this long would not be a good thing. So this is what we need to hold right here. Yet again, a very sticky situation for Litecoin. I'm not in a position right now. I'm waiting to see what the market's going to do and what these whales are going to do. They could do anything going into this halving. They could do some massive dump right now and then the day of do a massive pump and then dump right after that. You know, guys, we could have a massive pump right now, breaking out of the pennant going into the halving, and then they could dump it. It could be, you know, a dump before and then all of a sudden it blasts off afterwards. They do all different types of weird manipulative things, and you have to be ready for everything. And that's where you have to have an upside plan and you have to have a downside plan. That's why we look at these support and resistances as well. But on the 4-hour time frame, the volatility stop is showing red here. So that's showing the short-term downtrend. That's going to be at $48.22. They're showing there if you were in a short position, which I definitely would not recommend while we're still having these higher lows coming in. But for Litecoin, that's the main thing. We're just going to have to keep an eye on Bitcoin and see if Bitcoin has a big nasty drop to the downside. That's probably going to bring Litecoin down with it, and vice versa. If Bitcoin pumps, then I would like to see us come up here. We first have to get over $47.50. Then it's going to be $49.97. Then it'd be up to around that $51. What we're going to have to deal with. You can see the volume is fading and tailing off right now, so keep an eye on that. So guys, that's Litecoin there, and then we're going to move into Ethereum. You get some from Litecoin, let me know down low. Then we'll get into Ethereum, and hopefully, guys, tomorrow we'll throw in some Digibyte and maybe another coin as well. But I just had time for these today. I'm back at work, my normal business, and just takes a little bit more time from all this type of stuff as well. But I'm always going to try to do the best that I can for you. So on the 4-hour time frame for Ethereum, right now we're flirting with this yellow trend line. Same deal. We really don't want to lose this yellow trend line here, and it's also taking place at that $204. Old resistance we broke up through, just like we talked about with Litecoin. We want that to become support. So we really need to hold that 204.90. If we don't hold 204.90, I would most likely probably look down to around $188. Then it'd be down around that $174 if we move to the downside. If we do get an upside break and we hold and respect this trend line here, I'm going to look up to around $218. Then be up to around $226, then ultimately up to around that $247. But we don't want to lose this trend here because these are our higher lows. It's all about the trend, guys. As you figure this stuff out and you continue to research and you learn about technical analysis, you want to align yourself with that trend, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to try to buck the trend. Don't try to buck the trend, guys. It's one of the main things that I can tell you. But for right now, this yellow trend line's everything. This 200 and we'll call it $4.90 is what needs to be held. Otherwise, we could look at a pretty nasty trend line break. It may even take us down to that 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame, which would put us around $177. Okay, so guys, I apologize. I didn't want to take this too long, but I appreciate you being here with me. I think patience is still the key right now. I'm not in a position. I'm waiting for a great opportunity. And if I start seeing some big swells of volume coming into the upside and, a trend line like this is held, then it's going to be looking a little bit different. But right now, we're just in the short term, back and forth, guys. A really big fight between the bulls and the bears. So let me know what you're doing down low. I appreciate you being here with me today. God bless you all. Take care.